Hi class, if you are having any difficulties, I hope that this film on setting up a new project for working with Animate, I'm going to demonstrate setting up interactive storybook project. I know in the textbook they're referring to a projects panel and that doesn't exist in Animate. That was in the old versions of Flash. So I'm going to lead you through this. I'm in Animate right now already. What I want to actually do first is create a folder where I'm going to save things. So I'm going to go in my documents and let me drag this over here. So in my documents, and so if you're at home working on this, you will also need to set up a folder where you're going to save things. I'm just going to go in my Animate folder, and I already had an interactive storybook folder here, so I'm just going to create another one. I'll just call it number interactive storybook with no space this time, so I don't use the same wording again. There we go. And this is where I'm going to save my files. It's important that both your .as file and your .fla will be in the same folder. So that makes it easier for you to hand in the end. So this is where we're going to save things. And in fact, for you, because you're going to be handing this in later, you might want to use your last name, first name in front of that folder. So there, actually, I've just got Chupka Roslyn Interactive Storybook, and that's where we're going to save things. So back over to Animate. We're going to go File, New. And here's our new splash screen. And so the kind of file that we're looking for is an ActionScript 3.0 file. And we'll accept the default size and frame rate. So I've got 550 by 400 here, and we'll go create. So this is my FLA file. So I'm going to save that to the folder. So File, Save, and I am browsing to my new folder, Chupka Roslyn Interactive Storybook, and I'm going to call this Interactive Storybook. And you can see that yes, it is an FLA file. All right, I need another new file. So File, New. This one is going to be a script file. So I'm going to scroll around in here till I see scripts, and it is an ActionScript file. You could just choose file or you could choose class. I don't think it matters, but I'm just going to choose the, and if you have your mouse there, I think it would pop up. It kind of, no, it doesn't really pop up, but here, edit the script window. Yep, that's what we want. Create. Oh, I should have given it a name, but I could have done that back there. I will save it as main, and then that will become its name. So save, and note that this is an AS file, and we want to save it in the same folder where we put the interactive storybook. And I'm titling this capital M-A-I-N. That is its name. And do use a capital. This matters here. Save. So we have main, and it happens, we do want to target here, and yes, it is that one, so it knows that. It should know that. Yep. Okay. But the other thing we have to do with our FLA to make this work is we need to set a document class for it, which if you're using an older version of Flash, you might see that on the document settings here, where you could apply a class. But I don't even think it will actually work unless you do this. So here's what everyone I think will need to do. And even if you've already created your projects at school, and remember we went into publish settings and we went to the ActionScript 3 and we clicked on these settings, you need to set the document class to main, and we need to also tell it where it is, because I don't think this will be enough. And so if this doesn't make things work well enough, what we need to also do is browse to a path, and oh, maybe it does work. It seems to be here. but it'd be this folder. I'm going to run a test on this just to see that it would work, but select that folder. What if I didn't put this in here? And I can remove it later to see if it would work. Anyway, I'm going to say OK here. And I will need to just do some test code here and say OK. But this is what gets you set up, and now I would save this. This is what gets you set up where the code that you put in here will affect or work with this thing that you create here. So if you're starting from scratch, that's where it is. Let me just open some old files to grab some code and just try a hello world to test to see if they really are connected. So I want to open something recent. My hello world main. This is what I want. And I'm just going to copy this code and paste it in my, just to check to see if they're connected and it works. So over here and paste, and I'll save this. So what should happen when I run this is I should just see in the output window this hello world that I've told it to trace. And that'll tell me that this whole setup is working. Oops. So I want to go to this file. And I like to use shortcuts, so I'm hitting Control Enter to test it. And yeah, it is, nothing happens here on the SWF because there's nothing on my stage, but I do see the code is working. I get a hello world here. So I'm curious to test if when we go into the FLA, and what if we took out in the publish settings, what if I take out over here at the wrench by the ActionScript, what if I take out, okay, so I keep main there, but what if I take out this path? So I highlight it and I hit the minus sign. And I save this and I go, okay, will this still work? So I'll save this, test it again, Control Enter. There's nothing there. Oh, that's something that I put in my preferences. Earlier this morning I was trying to make it work without anything, and so I went into Edit Preferences, and in here you can set up some script compiler preferences, and I put in this path of $. Let me minus that and say OK. And try this again, and now that warning won't pop up. Control Enter. Yeah, and nothing happens, and I don't get any errors, but that connection is not there. So you definitely, even if you're using your files from school, you would have had a path that worked on your computer here at school, but it's not going to work for you at home. So you do need to reset this based on the computer you're at. And so I realized that when you hand these in, if I were to try to run them, it's not going to work unless I change that. And that's fine. If we don't find a workaround for this, so I need to go back to where I have my FLA stored right there. Select. OK. And OK. And save. And test. And it works again. That's it. If you have any questions, email me and I'll try to answer them. Bye for now.